Hey there. I imagine you're here because you want to get a six-figure job or something like that. Hey? So let's talk about why you are not there yet. This is one of the reasons and three of the reasons within. So one of the main reasons people don't get what they want, whether that be the six-figure job, the promotion, the amount of salary they want to get, where they're not where they want to be yet, is because they have things permeating their brain that they are believing, listening to, paying attention to that don't serve them. So there's three categories of beliefs that are useless and won't help you get where you want to go. And you can call them contaminants, you can call them toxic clouds of smoke, you can call them whatever you want. They are unuseful sentences that are thoughts, beliefs, things, stories you tell yourself, whatever you want to call them, they are unuseful. So there's three categories of them. The first category is when you have failed in the past at something. So if you have a past failure, maybe you haven't cracked the interview yet, you went to an interview, you thought you were going to get it, you put all your time and energy into it, you thought it was going to go so well, and then you didn't get the result you wanted, they didn't call you back, or maybe they called you back and they told you that they were going with someone else, and this just devastated you. That is something that your brain can record and will record if we're not in check with it, that could be a reason why you can't get it in the future, which makes zero sense. But our brain and body are connected. And when you experience something like that, it can bring up a lot of fear. It can bring up a lot of disappointment, a lot of unpleasant feelings that your body can code and then say, yeah, I don't want to do that again. It's probably going to happen again. I tried my all, I gave it my best, and it didn't work. So it must not be meant to be, or whatever story you are telling yourself. That is one big thing that can stop a lot of people, that can make them quit, that can make them settle for something less, that can make them go do something easier, that can just have them saying, yeah, well, I just tried my best and it didn't work, so I'm not going to be able to do it. And sometimes it's not the first try, sometimes it's the 10th try, sometimes it's the 50th try. We have to be in it until we get it. Okay. And we have to be willing to take whatever steps, however many times. And when we make past failures mean something about what's possible for the future, then we cut ourselves off before we actually get the chance to get to the result we want. So take it from me. Lots of fails under my belt, lots of fear experienced, lots of disappointment, lots of navigating feelings that didn't feel great in order to say, this is who I am. I'm getting up and I'm continuing to go anyway. And I'm going to get curious and look at why that didn't work for me. And it could be painful sometimes, but it's worth it in the end. But then again, it's your choice. This is the first thing. So, past failures, past disappointments, past things that didn't work out for you, are you letting those mean something about what is possible, what is upcoming in your life? Okay, because first of all, I want to be the first to clear it up. It means nothing. Your past does not equal your future. It's only how you look at your past and how you frame it, the stories you tell about it, that will allow you to use it as fuel, as value to bring into your future and make you even better than you were before you tried. All right, the second one is the things you picked up as a child, things you were told as a young brain when you were young and you were very impressionable and you just believed everything that people said, or an experience you had that you coded in a certain way that lives with you even now, right? So a very common one is public speaking. If, for example, you had to read aloud in class and maybe you stuttered and kids laughed at you, or you were very quiet and they yelled, speak up, like they used to do to me, then your body would just be like shocked and like, I don't want to do that again. And it's just going into protection mode, right? So that's an example. Another example I had was my dad told me that I was smart, but I wouldn't be good at sports. He's like, yeah, you're just not an athletic type of girl, right? And so I believed that. And so I just thought, you know what? I won't even try. I won't even like, I'll just go to the library, I'll skip PE class because I'm just not good at it, right? And I didn't know that at that time I could have totally been good at it. Like if he had said, you know, you're really good at sports, you just haven't done it, so you just got to keep go you got just got to try until you get better, then I would have had a different outlook, but I didn't. In that particular moment, I coded, okay, you're not good at sports, don't even bother, put your efforts into something else. So that's what I did, right? And so this kind of plays out for us in all different ways. But if, for example, with money, it comes in a lot with money. Like if your parents only made a certain amount of money, or if you've only seen people make a certain amount of money, if you've seen people struggle with money their whole life, then your body's gonna code, oh, that's the way that it is, right? That's what's possible for me too. That's how it goes in my family. That's how it is, right? And those stories, they simply need to be challenged, right? Because they are not ultimate truths. That's why we've seen so many people break that mold, build businesses. There's more millionaires being made every day in the world, self-made, not having inherited money from their family. And it's not because they had any advantages. They didn't have any special advantages. All they had was the ability to turn those stories around, to question them, and to see something new for themselves. So that's the second one, is past stories that you encoded as a child, your brain recorded and remembered. So they need to be challenged. The third one is the external environment that you're in. So big things that will influence what you believe right now are news headlines, something somebody will say to you, the collective kind of vibe in the air where you are, right? So if you're in a room where everybody is struggling and where everybody is having a problem with the same goal, then you're going to struggle. You're going to think, your brain is just going to think that struggle is a normal thing. Okay, it's not even going to question it because it's going to see everyone around just struggling. And you're going to be like, yeah, this is just hard. It's just hopeless. Susie's having trouble and Mark's having trouble. And it's just, it's just the way it is. It's hard, right? And I know this because and I intentionally put myself in rooms where people are raising the bar for themselves, right? So I might see some people struggle, but I'll always see them win eventually when they keep at it, right? And I feel it's really important to be in the vibe, in the leader, following the leadership of someone who is ahead of me, someone who has conquered those stories and who no longer believes them, and who is living a reality that's different, so that I can then teach my brain that is not how it has to be. Look at this person. They defied all those odds. They are now creating something new for themselves. There is absolutely no reason why I can't do that too, right? So it's very important, and it's your responsibility if you want to grow something for yourself that's bigger than your family had, or you want to create something you've never created before. It's very important to get yourself into a space where you normalize that, where other people are doing that. And it's equally important to protect your brain from the crap news headlines that are meant to startle you. They're meant to scare you. They're meant to grab your attention in any way that they can and lock into your fear brain and say, hey, look at this. Look at this. This is really scary. You should be paying attention to this, right? And so what I do is I turn my clients around on that, and I say, okay, if you insist on paying attention to that, also go do the research on these things that are also happening in the world that actually serve you to believe. So I'll just tell a quick story. In the pandemic, when everybody was on a hiring freeze and it sounded like nobody was hiring, I had a full 14 clients that I was working with, and they were all very panicked at the time. The first thing that I told them to do was to go research companies that were thriving and why they were thriving. And that directed their brain in a completely different direction to the news headlines, where they were able to come back and they were feeling completely different. They were like, oh, these companies are thriving. The stock has gone up here. This is why this is happening. Oh, this is so fascinating. Now I'm going to direct myself and put my energies into these places and doing these things, because the energy has shifted universally. So doing that allowed them to then continue on their way. They just needed to do a pivot. Many people didn't. They just gave into those stories. They just thought, okay, well, I'll just wait it out. And the waiting it out thing is an excuse we can always use at any point. We can always say, I'll wait for things to get better. I'll wait for this to change. I'll wait for this person to find me. I'll wait for the jobs to be posted. I'll wait. It's never useful. It never has been for me anyway. So I don't recommend waiting. I recommend moving and getting yourself into a situation where you can normalize success being possible, pivots being made. And because there's always that group of people, there's always going to be a group of people who are leading that way. So I chose to be one of those people during the pandemic, and I had a coach at the time, and she was leading that way for me. And then I led my clients, and it was a beautiful thing that happened. And I'm grateful that I did invest in myself, because if I hadn't, I might have crumbled down with everybody else and nobody would have won. So those are the three. So what I want to ask you now, what is your brain saying is the reason why you can't get a six-figure job right now? Is it, when I ask that, what comes to mind? Is it because you failed in the past? Is it because you've never done it before? Or is it in that category? Is it because of past failures? Or is it something about your past that someone said? Is it, oh, because my family hasn't ever been in it hasn't ever made that much money before? Is it because, oh, because someone like me can't get into places like that? Um, is it because you think you need more education or more certifications? Is it something about you that you think is needing to change? Or is it that you think it's the state of the market, the state of the economy, the state of the news headlines, the state of the layoffs? Is that what your brain is making the reason? So then I want to ask you, whatever answer you came up with, why? Why would you hold on to that limitation? Why would you choose that limitation? And then I want to ask you, is it useful to choose that? So in order to create from a place of full power and full speed, we need to stop subscribing to the beliefs that make us feel disappointed and hopeless and like there's not any way forward. And these three categories of beliefs can often do that to people. They will make them feel hopeless, feel like there's nothing they can do, feel like they lost all their power and control. And these beliefs rob people of their power and control. And so what we need to do is we need to build a strong foundation for you in your brain that builds that power and control back up. So creating anything big, creating something you've never done before, creating a salary that you've never made before, creating anything that you haven't actually done yet. So your brain doesn't have evidence. Your brain isn't thinking, oh, I did that before. Or maybe it is, but it's like it was just a fluke. You need to create that very strong base of a foundation in order to create that power that's available in you whenever you need it the most. And oftentimes in down times when everybody's on edge, that's when we need the power the most, and that's when we shrink the most. So in order to do that, I put together a private audio series. This audio series is going to get you to see things a little bit differently, see things how I've seen them throughout my career. So throughout my career, I have consistently broken the rules to get where I wanted to go. And so this means in my first, I tell the story in the audios, but it's not a one-time thing, it's a consistent thing. So I've consistently broken rules. The first one is, or that I shared in this video, is not believing what people wanted me to believe. Not like when someone said, you can't do that, that won't be possible right now. Instead of me agreeing with them, like most people would, I said, let me just show you what's possible. Like, no, like it was kind of like an opposite, like rebellion kind of attitude, right? So I took this rebellion kind of attitude, and it wasn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. It was just like, the other attitude just doesn't make sense because it just doesn't work. It just won't get me where I'm going. So that was kind of the attitude. It was like, well, no, you actually don't know. So in this private audio series, I've broken down how to beat the odds in a game when you feel like you can't win, because I know a lot of people feel like they can't win in the job hunt. So these 5 audios, they're my quiet rebellions. They're my confessions as to how I created my career. And it was straight out of college. It starts straight out of college up until now. Okay. And it's always been trending up with the different decisions that I've made and the different ways that I've chosen to get places. But I never let something like, oh, the market isn't looking good right now, stop me. I got creative, I got resourceful, I broke the rules. I did things people said I shouldn't be doing, and I got different results than everyone else. So that's what I want to share with you. So, what you're going to get inside is the first one is what I did to crack the hidden job opportunities wide open without networking. I do love networking and I think it's golden, but this particular thing that I'm going to talk to you about in the audio wasn't about networking at all, yet it still got me access to opportunities that other people did not have access to. How I chose the second one is how I chose bold words to get callbacks that I didn't expect. So when people said, "Oh, you should write your cover letter and resume like this," I said, "Nope, I'm going to write it like this." And I share with you the results I got. The third one is how I threw out the education first rule. So that's another big rule. People think you got to get educated, you got to have a degree, you got to have this, and that before anyone's going to accept you. Let me tell you the evidence against that I can show you. Now, I always say there's exceptions to every rule. Everything I say, take it or leave it. It really doesn't matter to me. I just want you to take what's helpful. Confession number 4, how I knew I needed to throw out this authority voice that was capping my future opportunities. So this is a big one. If you have an authority voice either from your past or your present right now that makes you feel like, a little bit off, like, I don't know if that's true, it doesn't feel right to me, there must be more available, there must be more possible, then that one's for you. And the fifth one is the real numbers game that no one talks about. Everyone says job searching is a numbers game. Well, let me tell you, I agree and I disagree. So tune into that one. That one is probably my favorite one. I'm going to tell you the metrics to track and the metrics that I totally threw away, and the metrics that most people are tracking that mean bub kiss. Trying to think of a word that wasn't rude, but also also conveys the thing I wanted to say, which is it doesn't, like, a lot of numbers people are tracking in their job hunt really don't mean anything. So with that said, I want you to head on over, sign up for that, for those 5 audios. They're the 5 audios of the rebellions, and they're called the confessions of a career rule breaker. And people can get a job just once and call it luck, but you can't do it multiple times through different economies and still call it luck, okay? It's a way of thinking and a way of being. So I want to share that with you. Click the link below and sign up for that. And let me know what you thought. So give me feedback. I'd be happy to hear from you. All right. So if you're watching this on YouTube, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the audio series. And I will see you back here with my next YouTube video. Thanks a lot. Peace out.